Hi everyone, welcome to your second lesson on castles, attacking and defending a castle using the Medieval Europe Teaching and Learning website. During your last lesson, you guys did types of castles and then also did a PowerPoint presentation on one castle of your choice, so you'd know that really well by now. This lesson is going to be on how to attack and how to defend a castle as well, and coming up with your own castle design. So your first job is going to be to watch these 3 videos. So the first video is a bit of a mini guide to castles and what they were used for. The second video is how to attack and defend a castle. And then lastly, there's Horrible History's take on how they would get into a castle, which is pretty good too. So, and you can see some of the challenges that knights faced when they tried to invade a castle. Your main task for this lesson is going to be to design your own castle. You do this on paper as well. So just a quick little description. Each castle in the Middle Ages was designed to be able to defend itself from enemy forces in different ways. Castles were also a sign of power and wealth, but their main feature was for protection and methods of attacking an enemy trying to invade the castle. So this is your activity for the lesson. It's in 2 phases and you'll see why in a second. So your first task is to draw a map of your castle. So come up with a design for a castle and draw a map for it. Make sure to include defences in your castle such as a moat, trees, wall spikes or certain traps like boiling oil and stuff like that. You'll learn about those particularly in this video here. Your second task after making that map is to draw an image of your castle from front on. So draw a diagram of your castle from the front. Imagine you're standing and looking at it from the front, and it must include colour. After you've done these 2 diagrams on paper, your third task is to write one paragraph that describes how your castle would be defended if an attacking force tried to invade. So the scenario, you have to defend against an enemy that contains 100 archers and 500 soldiers. Write this description underneath your front-on diagram, and make sure to reference the features on your map. So the castle walls, the traps, stuff like that from your map. And then after you finish those, what you're going to do is you're going to swap your 2 diagrams, so your 2 bits of paper, with another group. And then you're going to write an explanation on how you would conquer another group's castle. Write about how you would invade their castle and get through their defences and over their walls, and write that description in your book. So it's really important during phase 1 that you think about all the defences that you can include in your castle. Just make sure that those types of traps and defences were used during medieval times as well, so that you're being historically accurate. Here are some examples from last year. So I'll just open up this first one here. Here's an example of a map, a front-on diagram, and a paragraph on how they would defend their castle, and then how their castle would be attacked, which was written by another group. So you can see in this example here, we've got the 4 towers. So we've got a bit of a concentric castle here for 4 castle walls that do contain spikes, and I can also see there's a moat and a drawbridge. And I also know that these girls thought of putting dead bodies in the water so that their water would be diseased, so people couldn't swim in it and swim over. So that's a pretty clever idea as well. You can also see where all their knights and their soldiers would be ready to attack an enemy force trying to invade. This is the front-on image. We can see there's some archers in certain spots ready to go. We can also see the drawbridge being lowered down, and we can also see the moat as well. And then lastly, we've got a paragraph on how they would defend their castle, and then another student has written a small paragraph on how they would attack their castle. Let's check out some other examples as well. So we can see in this castle here, we've got some different rooms. We've also got walls. Again, we've got spikes in the moat, which is pretty interesting. We've got our castle walls as well, and the location of the towers and all the different rooms in that castle. You can see from the front on here, we've got another concentric looking castle, also maybe a bit of a rectangular keep as well. We've got trees around the outside. We've got a moat with a drawbridge. So those are some good defences as well. We can see Ben and Ronan here. They've come up with, again, another moat concentric castle. They've got 2 front towers where they would pour their boiling oil over their enemies trying to invade, and they'd be able to light that oil on fire, which we know that they did. And we can see that in their diagram here, which is pretty clever as well. If you finish all that, guys, you've got 2 Kahoots here you can play with your class as well. And there's also a really good documentary on the secrets of defending a castle as well. And you can also watch that documentary to inspire you for your designs. So during this lesson, guys, we've done a bit of an overview of castle types, how they're attacked and how they're defended. You've come up with your own design for a castle, and you thought about how you would invade another castle as well that's been designed. Good luck. Make sure to check out the description of this video to access this particular link, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to stay updated to any new websites that are made and any new videos that are made as well.